Okay, welcome. This is your teacher bot. Hopefully all systems are working normally. I hope you have good audio. I'm here with my dog, so she might interrupt us. I'm going to keep this short. This is specifically focused for the online C++ sections. So let's pretend this is your repo, okay? Now, how do you find a repo? You could go up here and you could search. I have a lot of them, right? Now, you're probably going to have one called CSC 134. I need to call it this because I have to make a new one every semester. So let's show you how you can write code without installing anything, just learning a few simple techniques. We're going to start here. We have a button called Code, and I see CodeSpaces. And to do the whole thing from scratch, I'm going to get rid of my old CodeSpace. If you have one that's a few days old, you can keep using it, but I want to show you from scratch. So it says here I need a CodeSpace on main. What's a CodeSpace? It's just a place on the web where you can work. It's your own little cubicle, I guess. We'll call it that. Or a comfy couch you can write code on. Now, when this loads up, you're going to see some name, blah, 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 github.dev. You're on a Linux server. So this is sort of what the backbone of computers run on. I could type commands down here. Ignore that. I could see my files. I could do let's look at these files. But you don't need to do this. I just want to show you that it's possible. Great, I've got a file there. Cool. So I'm going to not use this window down here much other than to see my output. Let's go in and pretend I didn't already make this file. So I'm going to make a new file here. I could put it in a folder. Now, one thing I want to tell you, don't accidentally put it in this VS Code folder because then you won't be able to find it because it's hidden. Let's call this M1T1 090x.cpp. I'll put that on there for you guys because you're the online section. And I'm going to show you how this works. Hopefully you can finish this video, in probably about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes max, and you'll have the assignment done. I'm going to hit install here because I'm using C++. Now what happened was I saved a file called C++. As soon as I had a new file with that extension, it wants to install the plugin. It's going to do this for a second. It's going to ask me if I want the beta version. Sure, why not? I'll try it just so I have one less pop-up to come up. Now, as you're watching the video, we're trying to learn how to write code, which is all in the middle, but all these things on the side are going to be how you can actually deliver your code. One thing I want to make very clear to everybody is that all of this is done for a reason. If I can get this to go away, good. This is done so that you learn how to program the same way you would if you were just at your first day on a job. I'm going to hide that here. I can do this. There we go. I have a little more room to see. So let's write this. Now, one thing I'll tell you, if you have the AI starting to spit code at you, it's going to confuse the heck out of you. So if this little guy down here, I call Crazy Frog. He's like a little frog with glasses on top of his head. If that's turned on, turn it off. Okay? So I'm going to write my program. And I do that by writing those little magical things. Now I want to show you because I don't want you to have to fight the editor. So watch this. When I type that, it makes the pair automatically. Okay? So I'm going to put comments here. I'm going to say CSC 134, M1T1 for the online sections. And my name is Norris A. You should put your own name, and I'll put the date I'm doing this, 8/31/25. Okay. Program will greet the user. So we're going to say hi. Really simple. Some of you may have already done this, but I want to show you how it works. So let's do something here. I notice it wants me to commit my changes, so let's do it. So every so often as I'm working, I like to have, if you ever played Dark Souls, it's a bonfire, but like a save point, right? So I'm going to say here, started M1T1, and all I put is comments. If you leave this blank, you're going to get stuck. It's going to pop up a window. You have to type something in it and close it. So just always put something here. If you're not sure what to put your feelings. All right, I'm feeling good, pretty good so far. It's, just started. I got to push this button to actually send my changes from where I am to my repository. So it's kind of like I am sending back an Amazon package. I put all the stuff in the box, and then I have to hit the sync button to actually send the package. So my change has been committed. And now let's actually write some code. So there's a few things we're going to do called magic words, and I'll explain those in future chapters. I'll tell you what it does right now shortly. So what that does is lets you use commands to do input and output, which is why it says IO stream. Streaming like a letter at a time or a word at a time, that's what they're talking about, printing out text. And I want to say using namespace standard std. So that's going to save us a lot of typing, because if you don't use this command, you have to type std in front of a lot of other commands. So it gets old. Int main. Okay. So again, notice how that worked. I'm going to do the whole thing again so you can see. Int main. I typed one parentheses, I typed the other one, so I typed the second one. Here I type one curly brace, and then I press enter a few times. My program goes here. Return 0, no errors. So now I have a program that does nothing, but I would love to see if it works or not. So I'm going to go up here and press this button. Watch carefully if it gives you more than one option. It didn't in this case. Sometimes it'll give you two pop-ups and you just pick the one you want to use. The top one is fine. Okay. You could also press that button there. I'm going to hide that again. All right, so it's doing some stuff, and it said the program, and that's the name of my program, has exited with code 0. That means 0 errors, so congratulations. But when I look at my program, it didn't do anything. Okay? So I'm going to put some notes in here and explain how the program works. I'm going to say input, start the program. You don't really put any input here yet. Processing none, output 0, no errors. And I'm going to say special effects, like I'm in a movie, right? It says hello to the user. Okay? So my program, all it really does is just have a little special effect. Let's do that. So let's say hello, and I'll say cout, hello user, end L. It looks like a 1, it's not. That's an L, okay? And you might notice, I'm using a theme here, and I'll just show you. You can change your themes here by picking a color theme. I like dark theme, but one thing that's nice about themes is you'll notice if you do misspell a word, see, it recognizes this is not right. It doesn't know what end 1 is, but it does know what end L is because it means end of line. And it has a nice purple color on mine. If you think about people talking about picking berries and knowing which berries are safe to eat and which ones aren't, color matters a lot. And we have a lot of unconscious things in our minds that recognize things by color and shape. So, give yourself every advantage by setting up your theme. I used, I think, I'll show you, color theme. I think I'm just using GitHub Dark Default. There's lots of different ones. You can choose your favorite colors. So I'm going to run it again. Okay. Now, one thing I should mention on these pop-ups is you might get more pop-ups than I did. Okay. If you did, then I can tell you a couple of things. First of all, so if it happens, don't worry. Stage changes, no push directly. Commit and sync. Always. I thought I had all the things turned off, but so you will get more pop-ups. And then if it says pull, doesn't matter. Okay. So just saying that. So if some extra pop-ups come up, I'm just putting on here what happens. If you get confused, just copy and paste your program into like a text file and send it to me. We'll figure it out. I'm going to run this again. And we're going to see if it works, and then I'll do the full check-in again, and we'll see if it's happy. Hello, user. Okay, that's congratulations, right? We got a win. So our program does what we want it to do. I look at this and say, this is just some stuff. Like this is just for CodeSpaces, right? You don't worry about that too much. But I put it on the screen for a second in case you see a pop-up, so that you know. Let's go through it. I'm going to see what happens here. I've got some changes. Now there's two files if I want to look at why. Well, there's one file here that if I look at it, it's not a file. It is the actual program in machine code in ones and zeros. whereas our program is readable. So your C++ program gets compiled into this guy with no extensions. Don't turn this file in. Turn in the one with the CPP because I can actually read it. I'm not a robot, and I cannot read machine language directly. So let's now finish up. So we're going to say finished M1T1, and feeling good. So I'm going to hit commit. If it had said, do you want to stage changes, I would say no, go ahead and push. But now I want to push. And so that's 2 clicks. If it asks you something over here, you can say yes, doesn't matter. But when I go back and look at my GitHub, I want to show you something. So the file is here now. Okay? Now this is proof. Beyond a doubt, this person, put this program on the repository, so they're claiming it. So, I could copy this path. I'm going to see if this works on a new page. It's not. I need actually the whole thing. So let's grab the whole thing from here. Now, not the code space. The code space, nobody else can see this. So now that I'm done with mine, I'm actually going to close it. Okay. I'm going to go back to my GitHub. So I found the file I worked on. Now you can just call yours m1t1.cpp. That'll be fine because I know your name because it's on your repo. So what do you do to turn in? You take this link here, you copy it, and that is all you submit. Okay? That proves when you did it, the edits you made, it shows the whole path of things you did, and if you fix things and then later fix other things, all the better. Now, that's all I have for now, so I hope this is helpful. I recognize that you might have to watch this twice, but I want to tell you again, learning code spaces and writing code in a code space is the same way if you got hired to like Microsoft or some big company, they're going to use the same tools. So I'm not teaching you this to make things easy. I'm teaching you this to give you job skills. So if you have any trouble with it, let me know. Norris@fateechcc.edu. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it.